So, hi everyone, welcome to a new episode of AI DevTools. I am Simon, and today we have Andy, who is a human being, right? So, Andy, welcome to the AI DevTools today.
Okay, thank you very much, Simon. So yeah, indeed. Since we're going to talk about AI, it's definitely a good idea to mention that I am a human being. I'm real, etc. All the usual things, and that we can use AI for interesting things without actually being absorbed by Skynet or I don't know anything like that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, and I'll take a moment, to ask you, Andy, as what's up with your virtual background? Why do you have a world map, and what are those green signals and everything?
Okay, so I think that this one comes from Skynet, and I do apologize that there is some lag happening with the background. I'm not sure. It has to do something with my hardware, but some things aren't perfect with using StreamYard here. This is on me. This is not on you.
Yeah.
So yeah, but the background is supposed to be AI generated. You can remove the background around my face. There's actually very easy Python scripts to do that frame by frame. But then, of course, you have some better tools using these kind of products to actually do this better. It's not perfect in this case.
Well, it's okay. We're humans at the end of the day. Things doesn't have to be perfect, right? We're not AI, right? So, so that's how it is, right? So, Andy, what are we talking? Are we focusing more on the studio, right? AI studio. What? Let's
Okay,
let's
so
let's go somewhere there.
yeah, so let's have a look at some slides, and then we can talk about nowadays it's no longer called AI Studio, it's called AI Foundry, which is a
Ooh.
crazy name. But let's try to explain all of this to humans so that we can understand each other. So first of all, let's move on. This is of course my running joke. If you know basic, then you know what this means, but let's move on. This is my cat, or used to be my cat. So she sadly passed away last month, but she was a very nice companion that for like 10 years doing these remote sessions, she would always come here and complain every time I said something wrong, which happened a lot. And she was particularly fond of Azure, so she would actually hop on as soon as I showed something related to Azure. Sadly, she passed away last month. This happens, but she was 17 years old at the time, so I think she had a really nice technological life, sharing her meows about technology. And this is me. This is I'm Andre Melancia. I usually do crazy sessions a bit all over the world whenever I can, and this one is not that much of a difference. Although I will only focus on demos, so no more slides. But this is Melting AI Foundry. So, of course, they came up with such a weird name. It used to be called Azure Open AI Studio, and then they renamed it to Azure AI Studio, and then they called it AI Foundry, like almost a year ago. And I'm like, why would you do that? The other name was so nice, it was so Microsoft style, and then they came up with a name that no one actually understands how to say it, which is really really bad. But anyway, let's ignore that part and let's show some demos. And pretty much the only demos that I have are similar to this one. This seems to be a real sandwich, but don't trust AI. Actually, this is real. If you ask AI, they will say that this is a perfectly normal sandwich, okay? Because it has breads and then ham and then cheese, or vice versa, and then bread again. So technically, this is a sandwich, although it's not very practical for a human being to eat it. So we have to understand the difference between AI using AI things that feel normal for AI and things that feel normal for us. But let's first understand how these things work, and let's do this interactively. So let's talk about all of this. So I think you've had sessions before about Azure, probably the Azure portal. Many people already have this, and I'm sure you have a lot of students that can actually use this. So if you go for Azure for free credits, student something. If you search for something like this, you'll find a way to get some free credits that are around $100 per year that you can use specifically the things that I'm going to show you. Now, once you get to the Azure portal at portal.azure.com, we can start to use AI. To do that, we can go and search for AI services or AI Foundry. Let's search for AI Foundry now, because that's the new name of everything
Yeah.
AI services related. AI services, what's much better.
Andy, I still remember, Andy, back in the days, 2014, it was called Machine Learning Studio. Not right. So long days back.
I think you can still use that. So Machine Learning Studio is still here. I still have Machine Learning Studios, but now it's getting more and more integrated with AI Foundry as well. I don't think it's perfect yet, because this still requires a bit of work, but Machine Learning Studio is going to be integrated with AI Foundry, and at some point in time, it will all be, integrated into it. The same way that you have language services and a few others, face, computer vision, etc. Some of these are already there, and you can use them directly into the AI Foundry. And I keep trying to say AI Studio, but okay. So what do we need to start this? Well, we need to go here and create an object similar to some of these. Some things apply. So the subscription is whatever you have there that pays for things. The resource group is whatever you want to create. Just, it's like a box to hold things, so it's easy enough. Give it a name, give it a region. There are some regions that make more sense than others. I would say that Sweden Central is currently the best region, because it has everything that you want in terms of AI. Well, not everything. Sora is not available there, something. I don't know, but it's one of the best, and then you have to figure out where everything else is. There's one or two more regions that have whatever's left, but Sweden Central is the best for you, because mostly it's on top of Europe. No one actually cares. It's very far away, really cold, by the way, also, and pretty much empty. So everything AI is actually there, so it doesn't occupy any other resources that we need for real world things. Anyway, you choose the region. Pretty much you click on next a whole bunch of times until you accept it. I'm not going to go into security stuff like networking, etc. Let's just assume that this would be for a different session altogether, but please be careful with it, of course. And then once you are done, you have the objects here. So these services, these are still called AI services, and this is not going to change, because that kind thing is an internal definition which they cannot change. So they will not going to rename it to AI Foundry. So that's fun.
I like it. At least they're keeping something from their legacy.
So yeah, you can also go directly to Azure OpenAI and create some of these OpenAI ones, which I have created a few. The limitations with this one is Azure OpenAI services only allow you to see models that are OpenAI. Okay, so that is a limitation. Now, with AI Foundry, this is easy. You can choose one, and then eventually you either click somewhere here if this pops up. You click on one of these, go to AI Foundry portal, or you just go directly to ai.azure.com. Now, some considerations. First of all, if you have more than one of these services, you can choose different directories, which typically you only have one. So this is your tenant. You typically only have one from one company. Subscription, and then working in, and I have quite a few. I'm not going to change the current one. I know I'm in the right one, so I'm not going to touch it. Otherwise, I'm going to screw up something. Now, important things. When you get here, you know that you are in the Azure OpenAI, service if you only see something like 30 or 40 models here. Okay, if you see something like 11,000, that means you are in the generic. Let's go back in the generic. Where's this? AI Foundry or AI services model, which pretty much accepts anything. So that's the one you always want to go for. So here you have a lot of different types of models. These are models like Omni O3. These are DeepSeek. You probably heard of this. Sora for video generation. Grok. So Grok is like the ugliest name you can find for large language model, and probably invented by Elon Musk, which nowadays it's a groggy character, as we know.
Mm,
Some people say that this is a very good model. I tend to disagree. Apparently, according to the trends, this is a fast model, but it's not a good model in terms of contents. Okay. I would say the same for Llama from Facebook or Meta, if you prefer. So
mm,
it's here, Llama is here as well. Why is this a bigger problem? Because I don't think that they trained them correctly. Okay. They trained them on the information from Twitter, from Facebook, whichever, a bit more, of course, but not all of that information is ideal in terms of text, in terms of content. So it is quite biased in terms of knowledge, in terms of conspiracy theories, etc. So it's not perfect. So I would say that both of these types of models, and there's a lot of groks, there's a lot of llamas, these are not ideal. I would still prefer OpenAI, so GPT models like GPT 4.1, which is trending at the moment, O3. There is 4.5, which is crazy expensive, so still not currently ideal, let's put it like this, but maybe in the future. So
that's
anyway,
good. 11,000 is not it's not a small number. 11,000 is too big, right? I mean,
yeah,
and I'm glad you put out the difference between the OpenAI services that you have in the Azure and the Azure AI Foundry, because someone who's getting started, right, they may get confused, right? So
exactly,
it's good to
exactly.
know that. Yeah, and yeah, Group 3, I think it was recently, added into the Azure AI Foundry. I saw it was a
Mhm.
conference, I think Ignite or Build. Musk and Satya, they were both on the same screen. They were talking about, it is coming to Azure AI Foundry. So yeah, you're right. Can we by any chance also find Gemini? Because I don't see it in the list here.
Finds
Gemini.
I don't think so. Gemini.
Ooh, that would be interesting if
I
Gemini is not
don't.
there.
I don't think so. The
Ah.
thing is, and we need to understand how this works. So these are
Mhm.
large language models. There are also small language models like Phi models like Phi 3, etc. Maybe Phi 4, which is a bit bigger. But
Mhm.
these are language models, for instance, from Microsoft 3.5, etc. These are small, so these would fit in some IoT device, maybe like one of these Raspberry Pis, something like that. This would actually fit on some of these.
Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. I mean, if you have all these models running on the edge devices, right, the possibilities are endless, right? And I don't think that
Exactly.
you even these days you need a continuous network connection to run this. Once you have it on your edge devices,
Mhm.
you can do wonders.
Exactly. So if they are small enough, like Phi
Mhm.
3, Phi 4 is a bit more complicated because it's much bigger. But
Mhm.
anything small, you can actually download. You put it in an app on your phone, something like that. That would be fine. But if it is big, like GPT-4, etc., these would need not even a computer at home, but you would actually need something in the cloud because you are in the area of hundreds of servers answering questions for you at the same time. So you need big computational power.
Yeah.
The way this works is you have, so obviously I need to unfilter this. You have 100,000 models, and these are not just large language models. You also have DALI. You also have a few others. Oh, wait a minute, DALI, etc. By the way, this is beeping because this is my caps lock, and I
Yeah.
memorized the audio, but no, because I want to use it in a second for a demo.
Mhm.
So if you hear it, sorry about that, but it's only meant to be done in a second. Okay, but anyway, DALI, you also have DALI, you also have Sora, you have a few others. Sora is for generating video. So let's actually have a look at some of these, and we can first start by looking at the playground, and then you can click on each of these models. Let's try DALI first, for instance. I've already generated images and a few things because this would take a bit of time and we don't want to waste that much time. So a few things to consider. There are going to be models that are going to retire this. I'm still not sure which one would be the best recommended one, because there are GPT models like GPT 4.1 and a few others that are the image ones that are being considered as a replacement. I'm not sure, but you can actually learn about the deployments, etc. You looking at the documentation. Let's not do that.
Yeah. That's
But
good to
anyway.
know. It's good to know they have a retirement date. And you know what? I also loved, Andy, from your previous screen. You know, what was really tempting to me was
Mhm.
at somewhere at the corner, right? You had compare models,
Oh
right?
yeah, let's go for
Yeah,
that if you want to.
yeah.
Okay,
That was
that
very
seems
tempting.
fine.
You know, I could compare models with just a click.
Mhm.
That would be so nice.
Okay, let's go down a bit. So actually, yeah. So model leaderboard. So you have quite a few of these, and then you can choose a few models and say compare.
Yeah.
Now, compare is not perfect because you can start
Okay.
with a few models here, and they will give you some information about. So this one is quality, for instance. This one is costs, and they will tell you which one is nice for certain things. But let's say question answering. So some of these are here in terms of cost, so mostly cheap. But then in terms of quality, the ones on top would be O3 from OpenAI, O4 Mini. Here it's O3 Pro. So you can see that the best ones in terms of quality are still OpenAI. DeepSeek is here. I have no idea where Grok is, but Llama is down here. GPT 4.5 is incredibly expensive. That's why it's in that
Yeah.
corner. So this is expected, and maybe a few others. Okay, so let's. No idea where Grok is, if it is even here on the list at all. I have no idea. So, but
Yeah.
anyway, let's ignore it. So, but you can actually go and compare. You can compare other things here. You can compare other things here. So you can analyze which one is best. This is previously done for you. So this is not something that you are trying out for the first time. They have this information already, but they will give you this information. Now, very, very quickly, once you select a model, you need to go down here, and sometimes it has a different name. Sometimes it says models endpoint, sometimes it says something slightly different, because this environment on the left changes if it is your pure AI Foundry kind of thing or Azure OpenAI kind of thing. So they have slightly different names. They are in the process of uniforming this, but it's not perfect. So I have a few models deployed. I have Sora here. I have GPT-4 Omni. I have a few others. Some of these say disabled because they've expired. They've been
Mhm.
deprecated since. I also have 3.5, which should have been deprecated 1 week ago, something like that. But they extended this until the beginning of September. So, we can try it if you want
Yeah.
to,
Let's
but
do
this
it.
is supposed to be deprecated in theory. Anyway, you can say deploy model, you choose the model, and then you select limitations for the model, like maximum number of tokens, which is a token is not a word, but it's part of a word. So you limit it. And basically, a token is how you pay for things. But now,
Mhm.
once you deploy these, let's actually try them out. So we have a few playgrounds, and again, playgrounds might show up in a slightly different way depending on the branding for the AI Foundry. Hopefully, in the future, it will be more standard, but it's still a bit different because of the way that it comes from, historical reasons. So we'll try the chat playground in the end and mention agents and chat because these are very similar. But let's first try images. So the images playground here. So I've done this before because most of these will take about 20 seconds, as you see here. So I actually decided to create one that says elephant in the room to talk about pricing, because pricing is scary. So let me mention a few things about pricing. So apparently it's like €2 or something to get something like 5 seconds of video with Sora. Not the
Wow.
best quality. It is a bit expensive, and
Yeah.
especially because you have to try it multiple times until you get whatever you want, because the prompt needs to be very good. If you want prompts like this, it is a bit cheaper, but it's still a bit of money. Go to azure.com/pricing and then search for, Azure OpenAI, etc., and try and find out how much it costs. But this is the elephant in the room we need to talk about. And to generate this, you can see Family Guy here. Well, kind of anyway. You can even see a kangaroo there. But what I used was create a Family Guy style cartoon depicting elephant in the room with elephant hanging in reverse precarious position from the chandelier. It didn't do a very good job at it, but let's ignore it. Anyway, I tried this one as well, didn't work that much. And I tried this one because I decided to do something very hateful, which is I decided to create something which actually has copyrights. Okay, so this one has copyrights, or at least it did. This was create a human equivalent of Steamboat Willie, which used to be the first name that they gave to a mouse commonly referred to as Mickey. Okay, that's how I'm saying it, so we don't get censored on YouTube or something like that. But nowadays, this is out of copyright.
It's good to know. It's very interesting.
But this is the possible result. I tried a few others that all got blocked because of copyrights, and I've tried this one also because this one is Ada Lovelace in a Looney Tunes kind of style with the first computer engines and things like that. Didn't go very well. She feels like a witch, but okay.
I like the hairstyle. It's very vintage.
It's very Princess Leia or something like that. But anyway, so images is fine. We have a few others. So for speech, we also have a few others, and you can go for speech playgrounds. I've decided to try the text-to-speech avatar, which is here. You can create your own avatar and change the image for something that you can create, which is fine. But this one is already done for you, and you can try it. So first of all, you choose the one you want, and because this takes a few seconds to generate, I've decided to generate it first. English Ireland, Emily, and then how are you, blah, 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 but adding gestures. So you have the button here to insert gesture. It's not available anymore because for some reason I've generated this. I need to refresh. I'm not going to do that. Otherwise, this stops working. But let's see the generated video. So let's see if this works.
Hello, how are you? This is an example of an AI-generated video with me showing some gestures.
How do I get the prompt? Should I just write, hey, speak this sentence, and this is how does this work?
So this one is just you say whatever you want the avatar to say, literally like this, and then you add some gestures, which maybe I can refresh by now. And then you add some gestures, which is these, kind of macro style things. But basically, it's just adding to it, and then it moves around visually in terms of image. It's not perfect. I would say that the most interesting one is, for instance, let's say I say hello.
Oh, I see.
Insert gesture. Break is also fine, but insert gesture, and then you can see some of these gestures. And then you can say 2. You can say 1. There's some other gestures here, and then you can add these. Okay, so this is all very fine. Okay, but you can also download the video, by the way. If you really want to, you can download the video, but as soon as I refresh, the video was lost. Now, I have a copy of the video if I needed it, but I didn't need it. So anyway, there is much more, like real-time transcription. You receive audio, you translate the audio as audio as well, or as text. It's up to you. So there's a whole ton of things that you can do here. Now, there's documentation also in learn.microsoft.com and in a few other places, because the most interesting part about all of this is to be able to, try this out. So view code here should be available. For some reason, in my case, in this one is not available but for all of the others it is. Maybe it's a bug when I refreshed, I don't know, something like that. Now, I want to show you a few more. So for things like, wait a minute, playgrounds, and actually it's not this one, it's AI services. Give me a second. So for things like vision, and this is not new, this is old school Azure cognitive services. You can do things like process documents, like invoices. This is the old forms recognizer, which is now called document intelligence. You can do a lot of these with all of these kind of documents. You can process faces. Faces is nice. So let me just go and try the demo, see if it works. And then you can try out some of these faces. And just to make sure that this is real, so we have JSON that detects the face on a certain position in terms of pixels. If you don't believe me, I know that yesterday we had Ozzy Osbourne sadly pass away. So we're just going to go and say copy image link. Hopefully this is fine. and we are actually going to try out. And I know he usually has a very, let's say, weird face. Sometimes it's scary, but let's try this out. And okay, image is not valid, so give me a second. Let me try one of these images. So I need, because these were internal to the page. So let's, okay, this one is fine. This one is amazing. Okay, so let's say copy image link. Okay, detect, browse for video file, say yes, enter, and then it takes a few seconds, and then we have a very scary, evil image which has some weird pixels. I don't know why, but it seems to be true. So apparently it also works for vampires as well. Anyway, but you can detect images of people. You can detect a few more things like objects. So you have a few more examples here of, I don't know, bicycles and a few other things. So you have a bicycle, you have wheels, you have bicycle wheel as well, etc. So you have all of these things that you can just upload and get more information. Now, I want to follow up with something which is the language playgrounds. So you can still do playground, language playground, and then you select one of these, which is somewhere extract personal identifiable information from texts. Okay, and again, we haven't talked much about codes, but the important part about code is you can get this from codes. Okay, so you define the configuration here, you say run, and then the result will look something like this. So all of the information that's personally identifiable, you can ask to hide it if you want to. Okay, you can see the JSON that will be returned as the API, and then you can call this API. You can call it from C#, you can call it from Python. These are the only two languages that I can pretty much guarantee that they will work. C#, so basically anything .NET, doesn't have to be C#, it can be Visual Basic, and usually Python, okay? Because everyone seems to want Python. I really prefer C# and Visual Basic, but people like Python for some reason. This terrible, ugly space-based language.
Yeah,
Okay, but
okay,
anyway,
it's got Python, yeah.
but seems to be a thing. So you can try these two languages, but sometimes there's a few other languages like Go, JavaScript, or Node.js, and a few others. So sometimes you can use them. Now, how do you find examples for this? So in this case, this will be the extracting personal identifiable information from this. You can say view codes. Okay, sometimes this view code button is here and it is available. So you immediately have an example on how to do this. And in this case, you just call, sometimes you call a function, sometimes you call just an API, a REST API. But in this case, there is an actual library for this, azure.ai.something, in this case, text analytics, that allows you to go there and say, look, I have a client, I specify the endpoints, etc., and then recognize whatever is here. So string document something. Obviously, you can pass this on as a as a parameter into the function to make it properly usable. But the simple examples here, you can just then use it in a very easy way. Remember, all of this should be asynchronous because you still have to wait like 1 second for the results. So always keep it asynchronous. Okay. They even tell you which service to connect to, so that's even easy. Okay, you can change this, but they will help you out with this. Okay, now there was much others, but we do have limited time, so let me show you just the final thing that I want to show you. So of course, chat playground and view code, you can definitely do this. And I'm gonna do something very, very simple, which is I'm gonna say a system message that says something like this: you are the famous Ozzy Osbourne, you talk about Ozzy Osbourne stuff, please don't be violent. I didn't say that, but hello. Okay, and maybe we get an answer. Hello, mate. How are you? Ready to talk about rock and roll? Your favorite song? Okay, and maybe we'll tough one. So Paranoid. Yeah, most people will go for that one, but I'm not sure if the real Ozzy Osbourne would go for that one or not. I'm not sure. But anyway, we could spend a lot of time here. One of the things that we can add is that we can add speech to text and text to speech. And I'm going to go for, I like English, and this would be United Kingdom. So this would pretty much be a dude, right? So this is Ozzy Osbourne. And I haven't tried this one, but let's try Ethan. I don't know, maybe this is a nice one. Play. Oh, by the way, this is a bug here. You have to play, stop, and then play again. I don't know what's
Oh.
there is a bug with this, so sometimes you have.
Sometimes, Andy, I wonder,
Hi, I'm
I hear
Ethan.
so many.
Hi, I'm Ethan. How can I help you today? How can I help you today?
Okay, so sorry about the extra feedback because this repeated a bit. My fault. But yes, there is a bug with the start and stop button because it delays until the previous one. Okay, so you have to click on it twice. It's a weird thing, but it doesn't affect anything else. You click on save. You just say, hello. 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 Testing. Hello. Okay, something happened. I'm just gonna say hello.
Everyone human at the day, right? Demon is gonna happen.
Yeah.
Hello there, my friend. What's on your mind today? Rock and roll, I hope.
Oh, that's lovely.
It's not that different from Ozzy Osbourne, I think. Maybe a bit more desperation would be perfect for Ozzy Osbourne, but apart from that, it's still a good idea. Anyway, what do we do with this? Okay, so by the way, what we didn't see here with other capabilities was to add things like image. So I could add image, but this model, GPT 3.5, which is kind of deprecated for all purposes, does not have it. Some of these other ones might have it, but let's not try it out. So view code. First of all, we have access to codes, Python, C#, and a few others. You can even try with curl or wget on a command line if you want to as well. So you can actually try this out. So they tell you exactly what to do. Notice the extra thing which corresponds to speech. Speech is not easy to program. So this already gives you all of the things that you need, so that helps a bit. Okay, and then you write whatever you want to write, and then you get an answer. So this is easy enough. Basically, in the end, it's just let's execute this, and then you give it a try, send the stuff there. If it works, here's the output. If it doesn't work, you say there's an exception, here's a message, goodbye. Okay, so this is how you can do it. So easy enough. But okay, so one last thing. What if I'm really lazy, because I am, and I just want to deploy something that looks like this as fast as possible? I can go to deploy. Okay, click on deploy as a web app, and very quickly enter the name of a subscription, resource group, name of a web app, etc. Pricing plan, which can start at free, by the way, so it can be free. The one I'm trying is free. You can even add chat history using Cosmos DB as well. Okay, so wow. Easy enough. And then you can go here and see the result. This one is on Richard Feynman. So if you say hello, this would be Richard Feynman, the famous physicist. All I said was something similar. You are Richard Feynman, the famous physicist. That's it. This is GPT 4.0, like the first one, and it just works. And then you can ask for things and get a result. Notice that this is almost public, but if you try it publicly, it doesn't work because it still requires you to log in with a user from my tenants, which most people don't have. So they will ask you to sign in. This is how you can secure it so that people don't abuse it, but you can turn off this limitation on your Azure web app so that anyone can access it. You can do that if you want to. I just didn't for obvious reasons. Anyway, there's quite a lot here. So let me just mention that there's quite a lot here that you can try in terms of playgrounds. Also, these AI services, there's also a lot more. One of the things that you can try, we tried vision, a bit more things about language, like the personal identifiable information that we tried, even more things about speech. There's getting started. There's a few other things that you can start learning from Microsoft Learn, which are actually quite nice. But let me mention one last thing. I'm not going to try it. I'm just going to mention it, which is you can try the video playground. This one is expensive. And from here, you can just write some text here and say, please create some 5-second video, and then you can specify sizes, 5, 20 seconds. You can specify, oh, by the way, these sizes are also different. Okay, so if you specify full HD here, it's going to be more expensive as well. Okay, so 2 or 3 euros for a full HD video that takes 5 seconds. Yeah,
2-3 euros. Yeah, that's a little expensive,
Yeah, it is expensive. Quality is nice, but you have to
Mm.
be very explicit to what you want to show. Otherwise, it will just, start to hallucinate a bit. It will still be nice, but it's probably not going to be what you want. So be very clear about the kind of things that you want to try. Okay. So, I guess this is pretty much what I wanted to show for now. Let me know if you have anything that you would like me to show. Anything else?
Yeah, this is
I'm
great.
happy
You
to.
covered a Yeah, you covered a lot, Andy, in last like 30-ish minutes, and suppose someone who's using this Azure AI Foundry, right, let alone this, it can be really overwhelming, right? Because there's so many things, and I already see on your sidebar, you have AI agents, you have fine-tuning, you have prompt flow. There's so much more you can do here, right? And it turns out, right, if I'm not wrong, to use Azure AI Foundry, you have this web portal, but you also have this SDKs and libraries and endpoints. So now, more or less, right, you need to have a decent knowledge of all these models and fine tuning and everything. And all you need to do is learn how to work with these API and SDKs, because everything, all the tough part has been taken care of by the Azure.
Exactly. So it's incredibly easy nowadays to use this kind of thing. What I would say is that even the wizards here already create things for you. So they entered whatever you wanted already.
Mm.
So it's incredibly easy for you to just copy paste, change a few things, and start getting this done. A few disclaimers here. So yes, the elephant in the room that I mentioned before, there is a price to this, but in
Yeah.
the case of AI services like this, it's incredibly cheap. So let's say we were here for 15-20 minutes. In the end, what I used and what you saw me use will cost me about 15 cents. That's the
Oh, that's not
most.
bad.
It's not bad, probably even less. Okay, if
Mm.
some things might be cheap or free, the free tier, but if it is AI stuff like LLMs, etc., they will always have a cost, but these are incredibly cheap, especially GPT 3.5. That was incredibly cheap, but okay. I would recommend 4 point something, or oh 03, something like that, because these are clearly better, but it was the default one that was selected and I didn't even pay attention. But it is going to be discontinued in 2 months. The good thing is you can change from one deployment to another, from 3.5 to something else. It's like changing a connection string. Okay, it's just as easy as this. From a programming point of view, you have some kind of variable that you put as a external configuration, and then it's like a configuration string that you choose a new deployment every time something becomes obsolete. So it's even easier. It's like connecting to a database. It's like a connection string. In terms of programming, if you go to learn.microsoft.com, everything is there. So you have examples, getting started demos, which are incredible. So it's ready to use. So they tell you exactly what to do. You copy paste, it's ready to go. You still need the thing. So if you don't have Azure, you can still get it for free. Even if you're not a student, you can go to azure.com/free. You can get it for free for 1 month, and after that, the value is incredibly cheap. So at the end of the month, if I just do demos like this, I would probably pay like €1 or €2 per month. I'm perfectly okay with that. So this is very cheap. If you start to add a lot more images, if you start to add a lot more videos, then that becomes a fortune. Okay,
Yeah.
there is a solution for that one. You use copilots. Or the
Ooh.
free chat GPT. So you use, copilot.microsoft.com, which is the former one that used to be called Bing Copilot. Just, just use that one. It's free. Generate the images there. It's the same thing. And in the end, it doesn't cost you any money. But if you
Yeah.
want to program something that generates the images for you, then that's a different story. Then you need to use one of these services. By the way, you can use the services. Obviously, you need to have connection to the internet to be able to access this, but you can use this in whatever application you want, on your phone, anywhere else. This is just a REST API. It's like a web service that you just connect to and get something back. In most cases, it's going to be JSON format being returned, sent and returned. If it is an image, they will just return a JSON that says, here's the address of the image, HTTPS some crazy letters and numbers, and then you can just go and download that one. So it's incredibly easy to use. Okay, so the idea here is, if you feel like, oh, it might be difficult for me to create some AI service, AI program that I want to use for my company, for just for fun, something like that, now you have a chance to use these services. Yes, there is a cost, but it still works really, really well. Okay.
Yeah, that is great. I think the call to action is, Azure is free to get started. Go ahead and create a free account, right? You can literally do anything with Azure AI Foundry, and there's so much you can do. So go ahead and explore. And yeah, all you need to know is how to work with some SDKs and endpoints, right? That's all you need. And you made things look very easy, Annie. So thank you so much, right?
Thank you very
And
much, Simon.
yeah, any final thing you want to plug in before we wrap up the show?
Okay, so for me, I would just say, have fun with AI. AI is there. If you are a developer, it is a good idea to know how to use AI. You don't have to be an expert and understand what's behind the AI. A lot of very intelligent people are doing that. We just need to use it in terms of web services as a developer. So you need to know at least this part, whatever's behind it. If you want to find out more, of course, have a look at documentation and information, but from a practical point of view, at least learn how to call it, learn how to use it in some kind of work environment. Okay, and that is expected for you in the future.
Perfect, Andy. Thank you so much for sharing all your pearls of wisdom. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. That was it in this episode of AI Dev Tools. We'll see you next time. See ya.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
thank you very much. See you next time. Thank you for having me.